Hi, welcome to the review of this guitar. It's a guitar that I've built from a kit. We're going to go through the quality of the parts, the process of building it, and then we will compare it with this guitar here, which I bought at about the same time for just about the same price, brand new. Okay, so it's a PRS style guitar. The model number is PR844B. It's from Coban Guitars in the UK. I believe it to be a Chinese kit that then they sell on. It's got a mahogany neck with a joint just there, going down to a mahogany body, and then on the front it's got a flamed maple veneer on the top with two humbuckers. Now, the quality of the neck and the body, the machining of the wood, I thought was really very good. Had a very nice finish on it. It just required some finished sanding on it, and when I put True Oil on, about 10 coats of True Oil, you ended up with this really rather nice finish all the way down there, down the neck, and another 10 coats on the body, and you end up with a very nice finish on the body. It also has this white plastic binding around the edge of the body, between the body and the front, and then it's got the veneer. Now, we'll come on to the veneer a bit later, but you do have to decide how to finish that yourself. There are instructions that come with the guitar, which are a bit less than impressive, to be honest. That's what the instructions are. There's hardly any information there, and in 2 pages, I think 3 times they say go and look on the internet to find out how to do the job properly. So the instructions really aren't very great, particularly when I've seen on the internet kits from, I think it's the German place, what's that called? I can't remember what it's called, but I think you get a booklet with photos and all in that. You get next to nothing with that. You get a pretty ropey diagram for the wiring, but there we are. Now, it's taken me about 2.5 months to build this guitar. I haven't been doing it full time, so I've been at work as well, so this has been evenings and weekends doing this. I did have a query that I had to contact Coban Guitars about, and they answered, would you believe, in 17 minutes. 17 minutes to get a reply, and that was about 9:30 in the evening. Can't beat 17 minutes for that. That was really good service. Now, I said about the quality of the neck and the body, the machining of the wood, which I thought was really good. I'm afraid the guitar, I think, was let down by the quality of the rest, some of the other components as well, particularly the wiring loom, where the soldering was so poor I had to resolder just about all of it myself. The strings that come with these kits and other kits I've seen on the internet are only any good for doing the setup of the guitar, because then I've replaced them with some Ernie Ball strings, and there's a cable that comes with it as well to plug into your amplifier, which looks so poor that I haven't even took it out the bag. The first job I had to do was to shape the headstock. I don't think they're allowed to send the headstock in the shape of a PRS guitar, because I think that'd be a copyright issue. So I've had to cut this shape out myself. That was the first job I did. Then I did the finish of the neck all the way down the back. If you can see that, there we are. Then the back of the neck, I used True Oil on that. I did about 10 coats with a day between each coat. I did a coat per evening, and then I did True Oil on the back of the body as well, and round the sides as well. I'm really pleased with that, actually. That True Oil really comes up very good, and it's a nice smooth finish. You don't feel sticky at all when you play on the neck like you might do on some more thick gloss finishes. So that came out very well. After that, I had to put some noise prevention black paint. I can't remember what it's called. In fact, I got it somewhere. Hang on. The next job was to use some noise prevention paint in the recesses, and I used this, which is from Coban Guitars in the UK. It's called Rear Guard Shielding Paint, and that's a thick, it's not gloopy, but it's a thick paint. You don't want to get it on your hands, certainly don't want to get it on the woodwork of the guitar, because I don't think you'll ever get it off. But I've used that. Now, you may not need that because it's humbuckers. You'd certainly need it if it was single coil pickups, but I used it on this anyway. After that was one of the big jobs, which was to stain the front of the guitar out. I wanted a nice green colour, so I've done that, and I used again this from Coban Guitars, stunning stains. This green colour, it's a water-based stain, and then you do that on the front of the veneer, and the veneer is none of these things that is dodgy, really. It's supposedly meant to be between 0.8 of a millimetre and 1 millimetre thick. You do get an extra piece to practice on, and that measured 0.54 millimetres thick, so it was miles thinner than what they said it was going to be, and consequently you've got to be very careful, because you've got to stain it, then you've got to rub it down with sandpaper, then stain it again, then rub it down, and it's so easy to go through that thinness of veneer. However, I didn't, and this was the finish that I got. I've since sprayed it with a clear coat, which I used this. I used Rust-Oleum Clear Coat Gloss Spray, and I've got about 6 or 7 coats on there. Now, it's the first time I've done all this, and I'm really quite pleased with that. Lovely finish. One problem I did have is, if you can see just down here, the veneer started lifting off. Now, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not too bothered about that, but if you're really critical, you'd say that the veneer was to blame. Whether it was or not, I don't know, but a thinness of veneer like that couldn't have helped. I then put a water slide decal up on the headstock. Heskins there, that's my surname, and then just put another couple of coats of the True oil on the top of that to keep that in place. Then it came to assembling it together, fitting the neck to the body, 4 bolts. It's nice and easy, although strangely these 2 top screws didn't go straight in, they went in at a slight angle, which was strange because 2 were drilled perfectly and 2 were drilled at an angle, so I don't know why that was. It doesn't seem to have affected the position of the neck, but it seems a bit dodgy. Now, this comes on to the one of these, like the major issue I had, and that is that if you can see that, you've got the surface of the top of the neck there, and then you've got a gap between the fingerboard and the body of the guitar where you can see the mahogany neck there, because the recess in the body is not as deep as the depth of the heel of the neck. Therefore the neck stands prey. Now the neck is certainly down there flush against the bottom of the recess, so what it is that the shape of the body, I think, probably isn't matching the depth of the heel of the neck. What that means, I think anyway, bear in mind it's the first time I've done this, is that the strings, you can't set the action any lower than what that is, because the bridge is down as low as it will go, and I can't get the strings any lower. So what I think actually needs is, I think it needs a shim to alter the angle of the neck. Also, what I found is that the 2 pickguard surrounds that come with it were not deep enough. I mean, the one on this side was okay, the bridge one was okay, but the neck one was a very, very shallow one, which meant that to get the height correct from the pickup to the bottom of the strings, you'd have to stick about 1/4 of an inch up from the top surface of the surround, and that wasn't possibly going to be correct. So I've had to buy these two pickup surrounds to replace the two that came with it. Also, they were a cream colour, which I didn't like, but nonetheless they should have been, I think, the right height, and that one was definitely about 4 or 5 millimeters too shallow than what it needed to be. Also, I came on to another thing that really sort of frustrated me, and that is this switch. Now, I've got that there, so where am I? There we are. So that's how it works, but the trouble is, when you're in the middle, there's so much play in that switch. So much play. And also, I wanted to get the end piece of the switch to match the black of the rest. And it's a threaded switch, so you can take it off. And when you look to order these switch covers, they're either a 4mm thread or a 3.5mm thread. Now that was quite small, so I ordered a 3.5mm thread. And it's just so loose on there, you can't screw it on, because that thread is so much smaller than the replacement pips, replacement covers that you can buy for it. So you're stuck with the cover that comes with it, and apart from gluing another one on, you're stuck with that white switch, or actually I wanted a black one. The other thing you end up is a difference in the size of the guitar. This is the kit guitar that I've built, and this is my Epiphone Les Paul Studio LT, and the Epiphone is 3 inches longer than the kit guitar. Now, let me put that back over there. In the grand scheme of things, that probably doesn't matter because the length of the strings is still the same, but it is a bit unusual that it's 3 inches shorter. Now this kit guitar cost me about £170 just for the kit. When you take in to buy in some stain and some black paint and some spray, then you're probably up to about, and various other odd bits and bobs, you're probably about £230, £240 for this guitar. Now this Epiphone I bought brand new for under £170. So you're left with deciding, what do you want? Do you want £170 for that? In fairness, this one now retails, like one I've seen on the internet, for about £219, and which is about what this costs once you take into account all the extras that you have to get for it. So what guitar would you get? Would you buy this, or would you buy a brand new guitar complete? Well, it depends what you want really. If you buy the Epiphone here, you end up with a guitar that's really good. I really like this guitar. It sounds great, it plays great, the finish on it is spotless. And when I got it for just under £170, I thought I got a great deal. It's now £219. I think that's still a pretty good deal for that guitar. That's a really good guitar for the price. This is a completely different thing. You don't buy a complete guitar, but what you do is you build it yourself. I could tell you everything about this. I put the true oil on, I screwed in these neck things, I put on the tuner, which by the way are okay without being brilliant, and I did that green finish on there, which I really like, and I doubt if there's another guitar probably in the world that looks like this. That's what you buy, why you buy a kit. You don't buy a kit because everybody else has got the same guitar. You buy a kit because you end up with a unique guitar that nobody else has got. So would I buy another kit? Would I do this again and build a guitar from a kit? Well, yes. In fact, I have. I'm getting a new kit and it's ordered, but it's a kit that's going to be a Telecaster with no veneer and a much simpler wiring loom, and also the height of the neck shouldn't have any issues because it's a much simpler thing, and it's a much simpler guitar all the way through. But would I get another kit? Yes, I would. I loved doing it. It was great fun, and you end up with something that nobody else has got.